Welcome to Love Always Self, a podcast about connection to self, reflections of self, and how this impacts our reality.
We're all about trying to find balance, discovering tools for spiritual wellness, and creating a safe place to have loving conversations about a broad range of topics.
I'm Karista, a spiritualist with a background in nursing, health coaching, and personal training. I believe in a holistic mindset where everyone and everything can work together in harmony by giving love and attention to the body, mind, and spirit so that we can create a more balanced life. I want to help guide you in your personal journey to create a life filled with joy, magic, and love.
And I'm Shira, an explorer of personal truth with a background in program management, finance, and more recently a spiritual intuitive, learning to connect with spiritual guides whom I like to call Mount Glass. I have an always growing passion to not only guide myself, but to also guide others in opening to and creating stronger connections with our highest self, allowing us to see and feel life in a whole new loving light.
We believe that we are all connected, and by learning to love self, we will elevate the collective consciousness and learn to create deeper connections with each other, self, and source. As we grow and learn through our own life adventures and self-discoveries, we hope you gain insights into your own truth.
Don't forget to subscribe to stay notified of new content. We would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please email us at contact@lovealwaysself.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at lovealwaysself, and this will be linked in the show notes.
Hello. Shira, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We're always excited to have you and welcome you into this space. Today, we are talking about affirmations, a little bit about manifestation, and what we can do as an alternative when affirmations are just not working for us. So, first off, what the fuck is an affirmation, right? And why do we do them? So affirmations are a positive statement. They are said in present tense. So like they are happening right here, right now, it's already occurring. And it is related to what you want to manifest. So an I am statement, I am happy. I am successful. I am filled with love.
I love the I ams. They always they reframe your whole thought process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's meant to help us retrain our subconscious mind to encourage us to believe certain things about ourselves, about the world, and our place within. So it again helps to reprogram those negative thought patterns that we may have developed over any course of time. And it helps us to create and focus on the reality that we want. So it's often said in terms of making or attracting, what we want to experience in this reality.
Yes, queen. I am abundant. I am happy.
I am special.
I am special. I like that one.
I am worthy.
I am loved.
I am love.
I am love. Ooh.
Yeah. So we say affirmations to, again, help refocus on our positive aspects, what we want to experience, because again, that's part of manifesting. So manifestation, what does that mean?
Creating your reality the way you want it to be created.
Yes. Yeah. So manifesting is basically turning your dreams into reality. So bringing something tangible into your life through attractions and beliefs. And this is often done through thought, through speech, through actions, our emotions, our beliefs. So what are you manifesting? What are you creating in this life, Shira?
Well, kind of like the space that I'm currently sitting in. I believe that I created this. It took a bit of effort to create that. So there, And that's kind of one of the misconceptions sometimes that I see, where it's just going to magically appear. Some things actually do just straight up come into your existence, right? Albeit quite weird ways occasionally. But this is a space that I created for myself, my home office.
And for the listeners out there, Shira just spent this past weekend painting her office space a beautiful dark blue. And
it's beautiful. I love
think,
it.
yeah, it's kind of representative of water. And you've always been really attracted to water in general.
Oh my gosh, lakes, pools, oceans, mostly the kind of water that when you jump in, it's not creepy, right? So like, so probably not a swamp or anything like that, but definitely. I take really long showers. I do my best meditation in water. Me and blue in general are just simpatico.
It's funny because I was thinking of like sharks, and then the
Right.
shark song came into my head.
Baby, no, do not get that stuck in my head. We'll never leave.
Saying it out loud.
Super sorry, listeners. Hopefully that didn't.
I'm not going to do that to you or the listeners.
I should have came with a trigger warning.
Oh man. So one aspect of this manifestation is those positive affirmations. So saying those positive statements that can be used to overcome like self-sabotaging behavior and negative thinking patterns. So again, those I am statements. So I am a creator. You are a creator of that space, Shira. And you've been thinking about this for a long time. About doing this. So again, the huge component is thought, but we also have to be able to put that into action.
Agreed. 100% agreed. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I posted on social media yesterday was talking about creating, right? Talking about, which is a manifestation, and those things are tied together. And creating this space for me didn't happen out of thin air. I didn't just one day wake up and say, oh, that's what I wanted, right? Mm-hmm. It took a little bit of work for me to look within and ask myself some questions or affirmations that allowed me to understand what it is that I actually wanted. What does this particular space look like? What is it that I personally like in my private space and in this particular creation, right? So I love the color blue, clearly, if you're watching. I want my place to feel like a cross between a little bit of work in this corner, total relaxation in that corner, but this very homey kind of vibe, right? I want crystals. I want nice, dim lit lamps. When it's dark in here, I want to be able to close my eyes and feel that nighttime within my own space. Mm-hmm. Like those are the things that I had to ask myself consistently and then decide on what that looks like.
Yeah. And I love that you pulled in another method of how we can use affirmations in creating, because a lot of times when we say those I am statements, our subconscious will actually fight those I am statements. So I am worthy. Ha, yeah, right. You're not worth a dime, blah, 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 right? So that's your subconscious mind speaking out and arguing with those I am statements. So when those I am statements, those affirmations are not working for us, one of the things that we can do is change it into an affirmation. So affirmation versus affirmation. And an affirmation is changing those I am statements into questions. And this helps our subconscious mind to stop fighting against that positive affirmation. And it will actually help it to respond more effectively when you ask a question. So your subconscious mind actually searches for an answer when you ask those questions. So why am I worthy? Well, I am a strong member of society. I work regularly. I enjoy lifting people up. I am giving to myself. I give to my friends. I give to my family. I give to strangers. So you help yourself by asking those questions.
You help yourself overcome your own limiting beliefs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
So
accept myself as I am.
absolutely. And acceptance is just another word for love. So I love myself as I am. Even though you may not agree with everything, you're still accepting yourself where you are in this moment. So asking your brain questions rather than making statements subconsciously triggers your brain to search for an answer. I do recommend that you avoid disempowering questions. So not using don't in the question will be helpful. So why don't I have this? Right?
Right.
So how would you say that instead? Like, I have this, or why do I have this? How do I have this?
So like an affirmation of I am abundant. That's a popular one, right? That could go down many rabbit holes, but we'll just stick with I am abundant for right now. What do I consider abundant? What do I consider abundance? What brings me abundance? What makes me feel abundant? What is my definition of abundance? How am I abundant?
And see, asking these questions can help you to define and determine and focus on what is creating that in this moment for you. So it helps us to refocus on the positive aspects rather than focusing on the negative aspects of life. If we focus, where our focus lies, that's where our energy lies. And when we focus on negative things going on or the struggles, well, that's kind of acting as an invitation from the universe to bring more of that forward into your life. And we
Kind of
kind of
like
want to,
it's like a beacon for, ooh, here's a lesson that needs to be learned. Let's give it to her, right? Or him.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's something that I know I struggled with, and I still occasionally struggle with, because again, we're human beings. So it's so important to continue to ask yourself. We like to do you want to do an exercise?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's have an exercise. Ask me a question. Or no. I'm going to ask you a question, Carrie.
Okay.
Are you happy?
Yes.
What is happiness to you?
Happiness to me is feeling joy, laughter, being playful, highlighting positive things that are going on in my life, ease of life. That's happy to me.
Okay.
Riding the wave rather than fighting the wave.
What is it that you consider playful?
Having fun without being concerned about what other people are thinking of you. Connecting to that childlike self, that inner child. Back when you used to run in the rain and splash around in puddles. Ooh. That's playful.
Okay, so, and I was about to ask you, what is it that's playful for you, right? What can you do that is playful for you? So
playing
that's a good
in the
one.
Rain, yeah. Hugging trees.
Nice.
Not gonna lie. Jumping around with my fur children, with Nova and Ryder, our dogs. Playing games.
So why do you like to feel playful?
I like to feel playful because I am less focused on struggles. So I am more focused on the joy, and it helps me feel present in the moment.
What do you feel is presence or being in the moment?
Oh gosh. Let's see. Being aware of my current reality. So if I'm outside and being playful, playing in the rain, the smell of the rain, how it tickles running down my skin, the raindrops, the sound of the rain in the trees, and the birds chirping through them, uh, laughing about their little bath from the sky. um, Being aware of how the temperature of the rain falling feels and the air around the rain feels.
Would you say that being in that state, albeit can be created even without rain, brings you ease?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because I can just sit here right now and I'm recalling earlier this week, I went to the grocery store, and as I was going in the grocery store, there were little tiny drops of rain, and I could see it through the sunlight. So it was bright and sunny outside, which kind of, throws you off. Oh, I don't expect rain. And then while I was in the store, it just started coming down. And I checked out and I was walking outside, and there were probably 15 people under the awning while it's pouring down raining, just waiting to walk to their cars. And I just kind of looked around at everybody, popped my mask off, took another look, and walked right out into the rain. Didn't run, just sauntered, put my face up towards the bright sky with the rain falling down. And I walked through a puddle and I jumped in it in the parking lot at the grocery
Nice.
store as an adult.
So within asking yourself a series of questions like this,
Mhm.
even if you attempt to answer that question with multiple answers, tackle each one of the answers. Continue asking yourself more questions to really dive deep within yourself to find what it is about these words that we've attached definitions to and that meaning to you. It doesn't have to necessarily be the same meaning to everyone else.
Mhm.
And I think that's also really important to think about when you're doing that.
It definitely helps in a way of almost creating like this critical thinking. Like, why are we happy in this moment? What about this moment creates that happiness in us? And how can we amplify that and create that in every moment? So it just helps to bring forward the details of how we manifest what we want to focus on and feel and realize in this present moment, in this reality.
Absolutely.
So, and what we believe, right, about ourselves, about this reality, about the universe, all of this at a subconscious level will greatly impact the outcome of events going forward.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I like the affirmation, I accept myself as I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some of the affirmation questions towards that is, how do I accept myself as I am?
Mm-hmm.
What is it about myself that I accept exactly as I am? Why do I like each of those different things that I'm responding to in my head? Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
That's
love it.
beautiful. Yeah. And how do I support that going forward? So again, what you choose to focus your energy on, whether it be joyful experiences, playful moments, whether you want to focus on the struggles.
The struggles.
The struggles. Again, the universe will take this as a sign that that's what you want to recreate over and over in this reality, in this life. And whether that be as a form of a lesson, right? Because we want to learn something from this, and this will help us learn about why we are focusing on certain aspects and how we can change that focus to bring about a better existence, a better reality, something more desirable for us. But
Yeah,
we all have lessons to learn in this.
we
Everybody
definitely do. Absolutely. And I also
has a lesson tied to it.
Yeah, no kidding. And it's also very interesting how it like spins around and connects to a lot of other elements that we practice on. So even if you have to repeat this to yourself, it ties directly into dismantling your limiting beliefs and creating new beliefs.
Yes, yes.
And tying that in.
And that's something that is encouraged to practice every day, because the more that you practice that, the more you are reprogramming those patterns. It's like an exercise for your body, right? But it's for your brain. So the more you practice it, the stronger your brain becomes in connecting with those neural pathways, with those positive ways of thinking, with creating more positive outcomes, or, at least being able to focus on silver linings. Because tough situations are still going to happen, no matter what, we focus on, no matter, how much we manifest, right? There are still going to be some situations that occur that are less than desirable, but all have lessons to be learned with them, things to elevate ourselves, to expand our higher consciousness, to create better connections to our higher self. So where are you going to focus on?
Yeah, because I honestly can't. I've had a insanely adventurous life. We're going to call it adventurous because I'm going to use positive words here. So I've had an insanely adventurous life. And in every single one of those moments, if I look back at it, but I'm choosing to stay more present than sticking to my past, right? But every single one of those moments, those waves of ups and downs, those ebbs and flows, those terrible times that, I have defined as terrible, every single one of those situations, experiences, I can actually now look back at that from a more neutral perspective because of the work that I have done personally with these affirmations or affirmations followed with that. And that helps bring me into that neutral perspective of looking at those adventures and bringing to myself a lesson that I have learned within that experience in some shape or form. And that helps me feel like I can transmute that from something negative into a positive.
Absolutely. And there's something to be said about not understanding why you're going through something in this moment. And you may not ever understand it, but the majority of the time you'll get a better grasp, as time goes on. So I have an example. Last year, in 2020, in April, my husband and I were scheduled to have our wedding in Jamaica. And 2 weeks before that is when lockdown happened, and we had to make the tough decision to reschedule the wedding. And it was a tough decision, right? Literally 2 weeks before. And I definitely went through some questions of, why is this happening to me, right? Playing the victim.
Yeah.
First of all, it wasn't happening to me. It was just happening. It just was what it was. But, rather than focusing on this, oh, I'm never going to get this dream wedding. I'm never going to get this, in my reality. We'd been planning it for 2.5 years already, and then having to delay it for another year. It just felt like, why? It was
Yeah.
definitely a struggle bus moment. But, a year later, after we actually got to do it this year in Jamaica, we recognized that had it happened the way it was originally planned, the resort would have been packed, first of all.
And I was just thinking about that.
Yeah. We had the most phenomenal service because they were at 50% capacity. And we were able to
less.
Yeah. We were able to get, into restaurants, the whole wedding party, 25 people, they were able to put like a dinner together within 2 hours of me requesting. And another thing too is there were some people that were able to make it last minute this year that wouldn't have been able to come last year. And it just made it that much more special, going through all of this together, being determined, and saying, this is going to be amazing. I am creating an amazing wedding experience. I am having an incredible celebration of love with my family, with my friends, and of course, with my husband. So there's a lot of things that, again, when you're in the thick of it, it's going to be a test of your will to focus on the negative or focus on the positive. It's your choice, but there's a silver lining to everything. There really is. It's just, how willing are you to open your eyes to it? And then, of course, one other thing is when we focus on the negative aspects, when we choose sorrow or anger or fear, we tend to fall back into, patterns of, self-defeating behaviors. So we're perpetuating that cycle.
It's a lot of work. And it's something I personally like to do, is letting these affirmations be a healing towards the past that I have carried into my presence, into my present. So whatever situation that you've been through, whatever, outcome that took place that's led you to exactly where you are today, finding ways to be okay with what has taken place, finding ways to understand where can I lead, my own personal development from that.
Yeah.
And letting go of, and when I say letting go, I want to make sure that I'm not like, oh, just forget about it. No. You should probably work. If it's still in your present, it's something you need to work on. So finding a way to use these affirmations or asking the questions, the affirmations, to assist you with that process.
And so affirmations are something that I try to do every morning, writing in my journal. And yes, it can get repetitive, but that's part of the learning process, right? Of, memorizing is repeated action. You learn a lot better when you repeat things. So you're creating these new neural pathways when you repeat your affirmations or affirmations. And so this is something that I try to do, every morning, writing down, I am love. I am filled with joy. I am seeing the joy even through, the pain or the sorrow or whatever, my affirmation is. These are not quoted directly from my book, but just examples. And this actually, when you start your day out with this, it already gets you started on the path of focusing on the positive. So I find it to be a great way to start your day.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely find it a great way to start my day. And I even will go as far as putting sticky notes on my mirror with positive affirmations. And then sometimes I'll put sticky notes somewhere in my office. I just cleaned my office. I don't have any to show right now, but but I'll even go as far as putting some of the questions.
Yeah.
Right? Those affirmations, those questions that I ask myself, like, how are you happy today?
Mm-hmm. And I love that idea of writing sticky notes. I also take like dry erase markers and write myself love notes on mirrors around the house. And I think that that's fun. And you can share it with your spouses too, then. It's like writing little love notes to your spouse as well. So
I would do this one thing with Stephen when we first started dating. I have to tell the story. And I would after I would get out of the shower and the mirror is all foggy, I would write little love notes in his side of the, dual sink vanity on the mirror. And so that way, when he would take a shower next and he gets out, he sees that faded note from his steam. It was, I loved doing that. So I was like, hopefully this isn't creepy.
I mean, basically, you're just writing yourself love notes, right?
Yeah.
My worth is immeasurable. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's always good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we use affirmations and affirmations to help us manifest what we want to focus on and give energy to in this reality so that we can continue to invite the universe to send us more of that. And of course, when the universe sends us lessons to be learned, we love through that as well. Again, we may not like it, but we love through it. We accept it as it is because we have something to learn from it. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on your reality. Practice kindness for yourself, for others. Focus on that love because your worth is immeasurable. You are an incredible, infinite being, and you deserve absolutely pure love. Listeners, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let us know if you have any questions. Tell us your favorite affirmation, something that you're focused on right now, bring forth into your reality. We would love to hear from you.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us for more content. As always.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Mwah!
Lovely infinite beings, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment and being open to receiving light and love. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and we really look forward to our next connection.
And as a reminder, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Love Always Self, which will be linked in the show notes. We would love to hear from y'all. So if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, please email us at contact@lovealwaysself.com or send us a private message on our social media.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shira.
And until next time, love always self.
Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you take upon the information on this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from information discussed in this podcast.